A very warm good evening to one and all present here. I hope you had a nice day today. Hope you all are staying best in your health and spirit. So we talk show are here again this week with our same team, that is nurses beyond conventional nursing. This is our 21st episode. Before starting our session, we must appreciate our all viewers. Because of you, this show is success. Motivation, inspiration, passion, and selflessness is the heart of this show. We all strive to do the best, and we all are trying to bring extraordinary glory to our nursing profession. People are always blaming their circumstances for what they are. I don't believe in circumstances. The people who get on in this world are the people who get up and look for circumstances they want. And if they can't find them, make them. Not said by me, it's said by philosopher George Bernard Shaw. So we all nurses must be proud for being in nursing profession. Many of our nursing leaders put their efforts to transform the nursing vocation into a respectable career. We appreciate your lovely gestures, especially your feedback, your prompt response, your appreciations, your critique, and all of your unconditional love. So with that note, I request my core team to introduce themselves. Geeta.
Good evening, everybody. I'm Geeta Sina. I'm an emergency nurse and I've also experienced of a nurse informatics system. And thank you and thanks to my mentor, today's mentor, and welcome to all lovely participants.
Rupa.
Yeah, good evening and very warm welcome to all of you. Thank you very much for watching our show. Thank you.
We have Dolma madam, but unfortunately she couldn't join. Over to Rekha ma'am.
Hello everyone, myself Rekha Anil Kumar. I'm a passionate nurse from last 24 years, and out of 24 years I'm having 15-year experience from bedsides, and from last 9 years I'm in a teaching field, teaching psychiatry. Welcome to the show and hoping a very great session today. Welcome to the show. Thank you.
Our most inspiring leader, Sri Devi ma'am.
Hello everyone, I'm Sridevi and I'm in love with nursing since the last 37 years, and I'm probably the second youngest in the show. Wishing the show all the very best. I'm very proud to be a part of this team.
And the last but not the least, you of this show, that's Uma ma'am. Over to Uma ma'am. Yes, can anyone unmute her?
Uma ma'am is not showing on the list.
Okay, it's fine. We'll start with our show. Hope she will join us in midwife. When you think of a registered nurse, where's the first place you picture them working? Chances are there you see them practicing in hospital setting or else in education sector. According to American Nurse Today, that is 2018 statistics. Sorry, I cannot bring Indian statistics. But overall, if we see in the world statistics, just over 62% of all employed registered nurses work in hospitals. This means that more than a third of 2.7 million working RN in the US are employed in the setting other than hospitals. So especially in India, we know, many of know, maybe not knowing, those who have completed their Bachelor of Science in Nursing, that's BSc Nursing, they have many options open to them outside of hospitals and clinics. So we, our talk show, have brought such a vibrant topic, that is nurses beyond conventional nursing. There are ups and downs and triumphs that nurses encounter when getting their education. Finding your passion in the field of nursing might be easier than you think, actually. There are so many opportunities that can move your career in unexpected ways and into different places. So today we are so happy to introduce two reliable and enthusiastic gems to this show who have started their career as a nurse but decided to take their identity beyond the wall of hospitals and institutions and make long-lasting impression. So we have here Miss Utplakshi Kaushik ma'am. She's a nurse, come public health professional with more than 11 years of experience with national and international organization field of public health across different domains. Right now she's pursuing PhD in public health, and her last engagement was with International Committee of Red Cross Society as first aid program manager. Before that, she had worked with Ministry of Health and Family Welfare at the capacity of consultant in National Human Resource for Health Cell, wherein she worked towards the capacity building and strengthening nursing and midwifery, human resource and allied health professionals in the country. When we talk to her, I personally feel she's such an enthusiastic person and she feels so inspired to become a nurse. And from her career, she turned into public health professionals. And presently also, we cannot say, yeah, that she's not a nurse. She's a nurse and she's doing her PhD even on nursing only. So it's our proud privilege to have Madam Utplakshi Kaushik. Over to you, ma'am. We are so happy and waiting to hear your story.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And I think that you have given a very thorough introduction of mine. So I personally don't feel like to repeat the same. Hello, everyone who are hearing out there. I think I'm audible.
Yes, ma'am. You are.
Yes, dear. Yes, very much.
Okay. So good evening to all. It's when Rupa called me and she approached me and she told me that there is this show which is going on, and one of my friend Dipti Damodaran, she was the speaker for the last time, and she personally sent me the glimpse of the last show. So it was really wonderful to watch, and I was very much excited that when I got to know the theme of the show, that why not. And the main focus of the show is to motivate the young nurses. I think that that is very much important, and I think it is the need of the hour that we should have, because nowadays and in this the era of corona, I think this whole year most of the students, the healthcare professionals, they are going through a very tough turmoil, and most of them are demotivated because of the condition. Most of them are not happy. So I think that I want to take you through my experience, that how I landed to nursing and how I have from conventional nursing, how I have changed my career pathway to conventional to non-conventional nursing. So I did my BSc nursing from Christian Medical College. How I landed up there, everyone is dreaming of doing MBBS after 12th. So it was even my dream. So, but because of certain circumstances, whether because of point one, because I am the general candidate, I didn't get it, or it is the fate which wanted me to pursue nursing instead of medicine. Yes, it was very disheartening at the moment when I got to know that I have not fetched a seat. I got into dental. Then my father, after having a word with so many people, he got to know that no, it is always better to go for BSc nursing rather than for dentistry. So I was like totally unaware. I think that what BSc nursing is, totally no clue after 12th, because the aspirations were totally different. But still I managed. I cried for 3-4 days. I don't know where you are taking me to. But he told, have faith in me, just go and have it. Okay, I landed up in CMC. After 3 years passed away, I had no clue where I'm going to, what I'm going to do. I cannot say that I didn't enjoy nursing. I did enjoy nursing. I enjoy the way I have been taught. I enjoy the way I have been groomed by my institution. I had proud on me then when I was giving the bedside care to the patients. It was there, but it was at that time as a young professional, nursing professional, I was thinking, this is not what I wanted. It is not. So I want something more. As we say, ye dil mange more. So ye dil mange more, but what is dil mange? So it was totally because as a student, there was nothing, because as I was seeing around me that people are either after doing BSc nursing, either they are going for MSc nursing and getting into teaching profession, or they go to abroad, or they do bedside nursing. So I was in a little I was very confused at that time, and I told my father, see, you landed me here, it was fine, it is my internship time. After that, I don't know where I'm going to do. You have to give me something, you have to tell me something which I can do after this and which is related to this, and I should have some name in the field of health, and I don't know what it would be. So I think that it is all what my father searched. He searched a lot, and he get into this health and hospital management stream, which a medical or a paramedical professional can do after their basic degree. So, and one of my seniors, she was also my inspiration. She was one batch senior to me in BSc nursing, and she did her hospital management from the same institution where after a year I got admission. So it was like, I have to do it. I did my all preparation, set for the entrance during the during my internship, and by God grace I got it, because I really wanted it from the core of my heart. I have to have at some place. So I did my health hospital management from Delhi IHMR, Indian Institute of Health and Research Management. And at that time, it was one of the best institute. I got selected into TISS also in MPH, Masters in Public Health. But I did it from IHMR Delhi. So then my journey of public health started. So I got a campus placement at NACO, National AIDS Control Organization, as a in the care and support treatment division as a technical officer. I worked there for 3.5 years in the NACP 3, and then I landed up in FHI 360, and it was like a kind of breakthrough of my career when I landed up in FHI 360, because the project I was enrolled is all because I was a nurse. Because it was a CDC Atlanta project, 6 years project, and the project is on strengthening the nursing capacity on HIV/AIDS along with other public health diseases. So they were rigorously searching for someone who is having this BSc nursing degree. So previously they have recruited some, some professionals who had done BSc and then MSc, but they are nowhere related to public health. So their search was that they want amalgamation of both nursing as well as public health. And then through someone, they got to know about me that I did nursing and then I did my public health. And then they asked me, why not, you should come for this. And I become the technical specialist. And the learnings what I received and the kind of work we have done, the modules we have, developed, and the dual role models, and we have, strengthened the management information systems of the health ministry. I worked rigorously with the nursing advisor at that time. And once I was in FHI, she wanted, you should, being a nurse, you should not be in any international organization, you should be at the ministry. Because that ministry for the, for the upliftment of this cadre of, because there's a lot of work going on at the back end at the nursing division in ministry at that time, cadre restructuring and all that stuff, and policy decisions, and she wanted me to be there, and I worked with her for around 3.5 years. And after that, I lost interest. I thought, no, I did a lot on this, then something different I should look for. And by chance, I got the chance to work with ICRC, International Committee of Red Cross, and I supported the Indian Red Cross as a first aid program manager. Their training programs, their modules, and at that time I worked rigorously on a project which the Pradhan Mantri, the Prime Minister of India, he wanted to, impart training. He wanted to build the strength of all the schools, all the government and private schools in India, teachers as well as students on on first aid. So they wanted Red Cross to develop a module, a comprehensive module along with NDMA on this, and I did that. And now they are going to, I think that the modules have been handed over to the Ministry of HRD, and anyways they are going to launch it because of certain circumstances, and now with Corona they didn't get the platform to launch it, but I think that they are going to put it in the curriculum, in the CBSE as well as the government school curriculums as well. And this is it. So after 11 years, I was really very, so much of travel, so much of work. So I thought it is too much now. I need some rest for myself, for my brain, for myself, some time for myself. Because after my post-graduation, I have been working tirelessly. And so I had this aspiration of pursuing my PhD, and my father was after my life. He told me, it's been so many years, you have not thought of it, you should do it, you should do it. So I thought, okay, just give it a chance. And by chance, the same institution, IHMR Jaipur, I have given the, interview for my PhD, and I got selected. So I started my PhD journey, which is, if by God's grace, it will put into place. It will complete it after 3 years. If not, then maybe 5 years or 6 years. I don't know. But my passion for this is also the topic which I thought, what it should be. It is not core public health. It is public health plus nursing. Because I always wanted that, why only public health? I have worked for public health, and I have worked so much on nursing cadre in India under these projects. And I've got so much of exposure from people in national, international organizations, that what I felt, there is a lot of gap still, as education, you see in the education side also, and during in the service side also. So what we can do in the public health, what we can do is we can bridge that gap, and how that gap can be bridged. So I think that the PhD scholars who are, pursuing these kind of subjects, or pursuing these kind of things. So I think that we should study all these things, so that these gaps can be bridged, and these things should reach to the policy makers. Because unless or until what is the benefit of you of doing a research, unless or until it is not reciprocated, or it is not converted to a policy. So I think that this is my vision. This is a short story. I did my MPhil also after my post-graduation in health hospital management. And after my MPhil, I think that this is the last stone unturned, that I should do my PhD. I don't know, after that my father or my husband will say, okay, go for Dr. PH also. I don't know, I'll be bad. Presently, I'm just doing the assignments of statistics, and my brain is like moving like hell. So I think that this is all about me, how a nurse from bedside has came to public health, and how I learned a lot from both the fields. And I must tell you that I'm very proud wherever I am, wherever I have gone. The kind of respect, the kind of, recognition I have received, I think it is because of my nursing degree. Because when people see you, look at you, that being a nurse. Yeah, sure.
Thank you so much, ma'am. It was really so admiring to hear you, because the journey you started and where you are enjoyed. So it is really, really appreciable. Ma'am, as you said, public health. Public health promotes the welfare of the society. That is the ultimate aim of public health sector. So have
Yeah.
you ever faced any struggles behind your journey? Like as you said, you were a nurse and you always feel nursing helps you to reach in this capacity, as you said. But
Yes.
still,
Yes.
we just want to know whether you have faced any struggles during this journey, or was it so easy for you?
I cannot say, Chris, as such, that the journey was difficult for me. As the professional pathways were there, I reached each and every pathway, very meticulously. There was no problem as such. I don't know, it might be my knowledge of nursing, it might be the institution where I studied BSc nursing that made me so confident. So that wherever I have gone, I worked on policy documents also on various aspects of nursing with various national, international organizations. But I literally tell you that they respected me the way I am. And, they wanted more and more people like me from the nursing background to come into public health so that we can contribute. Because you know what? When we are talking about transformation in a particular profession or a cadre, so we should have people who have the knowledge of basic knowledge of that profession, as well as excuse me, as well as they should also have the basic knowledge of public health. So it should not be they are only academicians, because academicians only deal with the students and the curriculum as such. But what is really happening on the ground, only that person can tell, who has the experience of both the fields. So I really, and there was no, I have not faced any kind of biases, anything like that. Wherever I have gone, I have introduced myself. I received the recognition and the respect. And people always told, she's from the nursing background, even doctors, so so many doctors were working under me, and I had sometimes I really felt so happy. Wow, being a nurse, like I'm their boss, man. And they were like, ma'am, how to do this, how to do that. So at that time, really, I enjoyed it. And I literally told to myself, see, wherever I am is because of the foundation stone, and that was nursing only.
So, so it's
Maybe I would have done, yeah.
yeah, it's really an inspiration, man. Again, you are inspiring one by one of the dialogues, because many times hardly we get to listen about this, how people respect nursing, and you have
Yeah.
proved yourself. And there is a quote that care for one, that is love, but care for 100, that is nursing. So really, we must feel
Exactly.
proud to become a nurse. Uh, that I think your story really, we can see in the chat box also, people are so determined that
Oh
how you
my God, this is my friend, my very good friend Deepti. She has written, she always admires me, she always inspires me.
so that's a
She is
success,
a
man. That's a
sweetheart.
success. Yeah.
I don't know, but yes, maybe down the line, maybe I don't know where I will be after 10 years. But I say that there is no end, even if someone, if you are doing BSc nursing, so don't restrict yourself that only you can do two things. Either you could be a bedside nurse or you could be an academician. No, there is no breadth of opportunities now. There is no breadth. You go to the world, you just see. But that determination, because that was there in my mind. कि ये दिल मांगे more. I wanted more. No, I cannot be here. I cannot be here only. I cannot be here for so many years. I want to be somewhere which gives me satisfaction. And I literally tell you from the core of my heart, I worked whole night on modules, sitting and editing. And it has never given me a headache. The travels, meeting people, meeting nurses, it has never given me a headache.
So that's great, ma'am. That's you have shown that we have like a option, like either you advance or you reinvent your career. So you have shown in such
Exactly.
you become an epitome of that thing. So really, we are so thankful, ma'am. We are even feel so privileged to have you here. We have one more speaker. I
Thank you
hope
so
you
much.
can spare little more time with us. Meanwhile,
Yes.
you can get some more question. It will be only for 10 to 15 minutes. Hope you can
No, it's
spare it.
okay. I'll be here till 6:10. I think that I welcome all the questions, and I think I am ready with the take-home messages also, which you have
Sure,
suggested
ma'am.
me.
Sure. Thank you so
So,
much, ma'am. The two most
thank you.
important day in our life are the day you are born and the day you find out why. Said by Mark Twain, celebrities or stars achieve iconic status because of their charisma. The fame they get is through their nature. Nurses always have great opportunity to exhibit their right attitude and skill in clinical decision making, especially in life-threatening situations. Our next speaker, I cannot say it's a speaker, she's our family member. She used to be a moderator of this show, and today she's another seat as a speaker, as a motivator, a hardworking, gregarious, most reliable, and of course, personality, creative personality, I must say, whose ideas really executed into this nurse talking show. So, a nurse talk show, the brain behind this show. She's the first rheumatology nurse in India qualification. She's the MSc rheumatology nurse from UK, and she did advanced course in rheumatology. She did various certified course, and she always determined herself. She's a person with quality of perseverance, hard work, sincerity. I have no words because words are limit for me to explain about her. So may I call Rupa Rawat, Senior Project Coordinator, presently working in WHO Collaborating Center at AIMS. Over to you, Rupa. We are really excited to listen you as a speaker today.
Yeah. First of all, it is very difficult. I must say, I'm totally confused what I'm going to say today. Just, yeah. Thank you very much, Krish, for making me more embarrassed and confused after listening that are you talking about me only? I have to see that, oh, probably I am the next speaker. Well, welcome you all. Thank you very much. And I was just telling my team that probably when it comes to me that I will be saying welcome to the 21st episode of Nurse Talk Show. And I'll be, abruptly start speaking about the welcome note. But yes, but we sincerely thank you. And thank you, Chris, for giving me this opportunity to be on this side and making me in such an uncomfortable zone. Being moderator is always a very comfortable zone for me. But I really wanted to thank each and every speaker we already covered our 21 episode and we had 26 speakers. It's very difficult when you are on this chair. It's actually a very difficult, and I totally agree with Dipti Damodaran, which she said a few weeks ago that, when you need to speak about yourself, then you cannot think what you're going to speak, because it's a human tendency when we talk about ourselves, then we start mixing our emotions, real incidents, and ultimately we'll end up going somewhere else. But let me try. I was trying to do it from last 2 days, but ultimately it was all vain. So I'm going to be very informal and unprepared of you all. Well, myself, Rupa Rawat, as you all know, thank you very much for your love and appreciations for this show. And let me tell you, I was a totally normal girl. When I'll talk about the decades and 1.5 decades ago, like in 2005, when it was nothing like I really don't wanted to do nursing or I wanted to do nursing. It was like I'm a typical normal girl who doesn't have any focus and she doesn't know what to do. So family decided ki typical middle class family who decided that everybody should be having government job in the house because unfortunately we lost our father when I was just 5. So that was my father's job, which looked after so well, and my mother was so hardworking lady, and she always gave us that, brought up that you have to be independent, and she quit the opportunity to opt the job. And she opted कि वो 3 बच्चों को घर में रह के पालेंगे on the just 1/3 salary of my father, what he was earning at that time. So ultimately, it was a strict instruction for all 3 siblings that we have to be stable. So, you know, when by chance I got a very good grade in 10th, you know, unfortunately, I don't know how. So I was a zonal topper, or a zonal top 10 list, I was third. And then my family thought that I'm very intelligent, and especially this galti meri sister se ho gayi, and she thought that I'm actually intelligent. And she pushed me to take the science, and ultimately when I took the science, and then they decided that I'll be going for nursing. And as a millennial, born child, so at that point of time, I know everybody would be agree, 80 90s वाले बच्चों के पास ना ऑप्शन नहीं होते थे, उनके पेरेंट्स डिसाइड करते थे व्हाट टू डू, बिकॉज हमारे पास गूगल बाबा भी नहीं थे, स्मार्टफोन्स भी नहीं था, तो हमें नहीं पता था। मम्मी पापा जहाँ जाते थे उनको कुछ अच्छा लगता था तो बच्चों को वही बना देते थे। So that's happened to me because, you know, my mother used to go to hospital and she really wanted that one of her daughter should be a nurse. My sister couldn't continue her nursing as a profession because she got selected in another government department. So ultimately it come to me, so I had to enter into nursing. I completed my nursing and I was a typical nurse, nothing to do कि क्या करना है, ठीक है गवर्नमेंट जॉब करेंगे सब सेटल हो जाएगा. But एक बात बहुत sure थी when I was doing my nursing, that when somebody asked that they are going to go in teaching, they are going to go in their clinical, then I said I'm going to go somewhere like HOD. So they said, why? Because I said, I really like that HOD profile in the hospital. They can go and see patients. They can go and take the classes. They will be on the ward. Wherever they want, they are available. So why we nurses restrict ourselves that, oh, या तो आप clinical में काम करेंगे या आप teaching में काम करेंगे. So ultimately, that idea always in my mind. And in 2005, I joined a place which I still worship deeply by my heart, and I still go whenever, you know, I drive nearby to that place. It's the Indian Spinal Injury Center. I joined that place in 2005, and that place is actually, I worked there almost 13 years. So my first turning point in my life was when I was started working as a staff nurse in the ward. I got a chance to work in a department which is called rheumatology. HOD of that department was one of the prestigious doctor all over the world, and I was not aware of that when first time they offered me that they want a nurse. And you know what qualification he want? He liked the way I speak my Hindi. And you know, the interview which he took at that point of time, he said, can you speak something in Hindi? And I said, oh, I just love your Hindi. And on that basis I got selected. They have been looking for a nurse. It's been a decade they've been looking for a nurse who can counsel their patients actually. And it was in his mind. He said, when I was working in US and then I've been to UK, I feel that nurses take care of patients so nicely, and I've been looking for a nurse who should learn rheumatology and take care of our patients. Our patients are actually often, and people, people and especially doctor don't know about rheumatology. So when it comes to the other healthcare professional, it's very difficult. So we really want that patient should be treated with respect. Somebody should be there who will be listening to their patients and ultimately giving them a right direction. So, you know, I really wanted to do my specialization either in neonatology or oncology. Oncology reason because my father died with the cancer. So that is how I got this magical person, and he's a mentor, he's a god, professional father, whatever you want to say, he's that banda. That he was a person, when he first time took a lecture on rheumatology, you know, musculoskeletal system, can you imagine? On that first day, I fell into love with that subject. And at that day, I decided that I wanted to pursue my whole life for rheumatology. And the passion which he had while he was teaching, you know, I felt so nice. And ultimately, I started working with him and I was learning, and soonly, you know, gradually my love towards the rheumatology was increasing, and I was totally damn, it was like, I just love to read everything about rheumatology. I wanted to learn as much as, because, and let me tell you here, you know, the whole role is that master, the trainer, you know, a teacher play a very important role in students' life. If they show the right path to their student, can you imagine? He was the person who converted me from just a nurse to a highly professional nurse who's so much passionate. Today, I'm having a deep regard for my profession, for nursing, just because that person. He taught me how to love your profession and how to devote yourself towards your profession. So ultimately, there's another disaster happened in my life in 2006 when I got selected for a government job. You know, I, I never thought that I would be the one who will be selected in the first list. And unfortunately, God always planned like that. So I got selected in the first list. And as usual, it's a melodrama in a middle class family. Like, you have to join the job. And I was in love. And when somebody's in love, so they can't think twice. So I was thinking that how can we have in, AIIMS, kaise, Delhi AIIMS. It was a huge pressure, it's a social pressure, personal pressure, family pressure, friends pressure, everyone you have pressure. And let me tell you, I was very cool. I was thinking that, no, I'm not going to join. And finally, the day came when I have to report there. And I decided that I'm not going to do that. My mother was quite angry with me. She came with a very creative proposal for me. She said, you join AIIMS, we'll send you abroad for your rheumatology study. I said, why I'll go to rheumatology study when I'll join the AIIMS? जब action oriented काम ही नहीं है, तो why I will be studying rheumatology unnecessarily, माँ? Because यहाँ पे मुझे जरूरत है, मेरे patients को जरूरत है. And I don't think AIIMS में मेरे को वो डिपार्टमेंट मिल पाएगा and all that. And then that was the first decision I have taken at the age of 22 that I'm not going to join AIIMS. Then I was labeled, I got a very unique label at that point of time. People started calling me crazy, stupid girl, don't think about your life. Even my so many consultant who was with me in that department, they used to say, "Waise Rupa, abhi to theek hai, you are young, but think about the future, you will be having bachas also, yaar. So how can you think of leaving this job?" I said, "Sir, jab main nahi ji paungi, to mere bacche ji ke kya karenge na? Let it be, let me enjoy my life." And I really enjoying doing work here with rheumatology patients. And I really wanted to give them a quality of life. I'm learning, I'm enjoying. Let me just focus on this. And ultimately, it's happened. And this so-called sacrifice from the social point of view, let me tell you, because I never considered it as a sacrifice. I got chance to go to US in 2007, and I was just 23 years old girl, जिसने कभी airport भी नहीं देखा था, तो सीधा वो flight में बैठ के US पहुंच गई. And I attended a highly reputed conference workshop over there and came back. And then family and society was little okay with that, and that crazy label was started getting away from my personality, and they are thinking that yeah, kuch to kar rahi hai, kya kar rahi hai kisi ko nahi pata. And ultimately it was a very, as Utplakshi said, I was blessed that I was always acknowledged as a nurse, and people respect me from the HOD's level till the doctors, till anyone in my organization, outside my organization, wherever I used to go for the conferences. So I would call myself always, I was in a misfit zone. I was the first female in my department among all male. I was the first nurse in my department, and I used to go as a first nurse in the conference where everyone is a doctor. So I was the only one who is representing a nurse. But that uncomfortable zone always keep me active to just go. And ultimately, when I started meeting the nursing professional, I met a very nice British lady, and she asked me, from where you did your masters? And I said, no, ma'am, I didn't do my master. I'm just, completed my nursing. She said, oh my God, Rupa, in India, nobody respect nurses without degree. You go ahead and do your degree first, postgrad karo, PhD karo. I said, acha, aisa hota hai? So then I thought, yaar, karna to padega. And I started looking the Indian all the institutions, and I asked, is there anybody who's doing masters, med search and other thing in the rheumatology? And ultimately I got to know that there's nothing like that. And I decided, and by the time I have completed many courses from abroad, like I have completed my advanced course in rheumatology from America. And then I got to know there is a university, Keele University in UK. They have masters in rheumatology nursing. So, first thing what I did in 2010, I wrote a mail to the director of that course. And the reply, can you imagine? That reply was enough to boost energy in me to think about that I'm going UK to do my master's. And that day, I took a one lesson, every time you should reply somebody's email. Probably your answer, your when somebody is writing message to you, when somebody is writing email to you, क्या पता आपका एक जवाब उसकी जिंदगी बदल दे. And that's happened to me. You know, my director, that course director, what she wrote in her letter is very encouraging, and I decided that kuch bhi ho jaye, I have to now enroll this course. So they said they will be going for a panel interview. They interviewed me, and they were very happy that an Indian nurse with rheumatology, you know, hardly people know about rheumatology, let me tell you. A nurse is doing so much clinically in rheumatology. And then seeing my credentials in terms of publication and everything, they were quite, happy to have me for their course. Then they said that, Drupa, there's a problem that you will be the first Asian candidate for this course. This is basically exclusively for the rheumatology clinical nurses who's having their, practice here, and they are tagged as a rheumatologist. So it's an in-service education program. So there is we have to change so many policies and protocol, and because we never had any Asian candidate. I said, okay, but they were ready to do that for myself. And now comes to the huge financial part. Can you imagine? It was actually when you go abroad for your further studies, so non-European candidate has to pay double fees always. So it was I just got married, and fortunately I was having another crazy partner who's just like me. My family was thinking ki chalo iske ulte pulte courageous adventurous काम कम होंगे, but it increased, and it was a surprise for my family that एक और blast हो रहा है अब घर में. She is going abroad for study. So it was actually unpalatable for my family and friends at that point of time. इसीलिए मैं बहुत आगे तक process करने के बाद I used to tell to my family that I'm doing this. Ultimately, we tried for the education loan, and can you imagine, we applied in 7 banks, got rejected almost in 6. एक बैंक ने yes बोला इस basis पे कि मैडम हम सोच तो लेंगे, consider करेंगे, but let's see आपका and just उन्होंने yes बोला and was happy कि चलो कहीं से तो loan sanction हो रहा है, because let me tell you, we were actually having no money at that point of time. Because we got recently married, we just invested all money in the property, because शादी की है तो घर भी होना चाहिए. I hope everybody is agree with me, typical Indian family. So, and then their manager, their sales manager started calling me and giving me all the, professional advice. Madam, आप MBA क्यों नहीं कर लेते? Madam, easily loan मिल जाएगा. Madam, आप वहीं रह के कर लो. Nurses का ना बड़ा अच्छा scope है UK में, because it was a course which is in service course. So I have to go abroad and come back. It's like 7-8 times or 6 to 8 time visit to UK. I said, भैया थैंक यू वेरी मच फॉर गिविंग मी दिस एडवाइस, बट मैं थोड़ा सा इतना राइट रखती हूँ कि डिसीजन मैं लूंगी. हाँ, कोर्स तो यही करना है, लोन प्रोसीड कर लो. आई कुड नॉट बी फ्यूरियस ऑन देम, बिकॉज दे वर द वन आउट ऑफ 7 बैंक्स हु एक्सेप्टेड माय एप्लीकेशन. And ultimately, it's been 3 months. I was not getting any positive response, and I was now getting very apprehensive, like, ab kya hoga, ab kya hoga? And ultimately, it was like fading from our mind, and we have started looking for other options, like, can we get some funds from the family and all that. And ultimately, one fine day, my bank manager called me and said, "Madam, today your fate is going to be decided in this meeting, because your case is so unique. We tried everything, but today we are having a high level meeting, and we finally decided to keep your file in that." I said, okay. So he said कि मैडम इसमें जो decide होएगा शाम को आपको पता चल जाएगा, because we really don't want to keep you on hold. I said, okay. And can you imagine that meeting? There was a lady who has to decide that whole file, that whether there is many other files also, but my file is इसलिए unique था because course nobody knows. And nothing they know about anything, and they really wanted to pursue with this application. And by chance she was a rheumatoid patient, and when she read my application, she instantly said, yes, we are going to approve this loan. And then there is a rejection on my paper. Then they said, how you can say? And then she started narrating her own experience with the rheumatoid patient. She said, if somebody is wanted to do, so how we can say no? It's a good time that we should do. And I really, because I have a pain, because I've been suffering with this disease from last 10-15 years. And when I go to doctor, I really want that this lady should go and do this course. And in the evening, I got yes from that bank, and it was like, how come possible? And then he said there was a patient, and later on I got to know that she is my patient actually. She used to come in our department, and she saw me many times. We interacted, but I never knew that she is from some bank she's having that position. So by the time she saw my picture also, and later on she told, why I said yes, because I know this girl personally also, and she's going to come India and serve the people, and therefore I want that this application should be accepted. This happens, then मेरा confidence और अब तो कुछ नहीं रोक सकता. I will be going UK for first rheumatology, as a first rheumatology nurse to train. But ultimately, and then I decided I'm not going to take any chance now. So I hired best of best consultancy who can approach for the visa. It was one of the reputed consultancy from Delhi only, and they processed my paper, because when I was going US in 2007, I got 2 rejection for the US visa, and ultimately I got US visa with my director's undertaking. So I thought, no, I cannot take chance, and ultimately, I wrote that consultancy made my all paper ready, and they said yes, you can process with your visa. And on that fine day, I was just going to the consultant, paying their fee. That fee was extremely high than their एक्चुअल वीजा फीस. जो मुझे के वीजा फीस पे करनी थी उससे भी ज्यादा हाई फीस मैं कंसल्टेंट को पे कर रही थी फॉर चेकिंग माय पेपर, वेरीफाइंग माय पेपर, बिकॉज उनका एक स्टैंप लग जाएगा तो आई विल बी हैविंग अ हाई चांसेस टू गेट द वीजा. सो व्हेन आई वेंट देयर आई गॉट टू नो, ओ लास्ट टाइम यूएस गई थी, देयर वाज सम प्रॉब्लम, देयर वाज अ पेपर फ्रॉम द एयरपोर्ट. So I just took out those paper and went to the consultant, and the moment I show it to the consultant and consultant shared, and I was like, अब क्या हुआ? And she simply इसका मुंह इतना लाल था, and she said, रूपा ये पेपर कहाँ थे? I was like, it was in my bag. She said, I know it was in your bag, but तुमने पहले क्यों नहीं दिखाया? I said, मुझे नहीं लगा इतने important है. She said, you have a bail paper. And I was like, really? She said, yes. It's written that you were detained in the airport, and you are having 95% chances of rejection now. And let me tell you, I'm not going to give you a stamp of my consultancy on your paper, because we are having a high success rate, and I hope you understand my situation. अगर ये आपने मुझे पहले दिया होता तो I could have not taken your case in my hands. I said, I paid the fee. She said, okay, कुछ नहीं हुआ. I took my paper, went back, and it was a period when we have a balti of tears and anxiety, sleepless night, everything was there. And ultimately I decided that, Rupa, you are enough good consultant in terms of visa now, you have to do it by yourself. And ultimately I added all the paper, applied for the visa, and by the God grace I got that visa. And it was actually a moment where I was thinking that I have done everything in my life. And after getting that visa, it was a time then we have to, start processing that. When I got that sanction letter from the bank, they said that, because it is an in-service education program, so you have to start your EMI from the next month only, the very next month. And it was again a shock for us, because we were not expecting that. And let me tell you, we didn't have that money to pay the EMI from the next week onwards. I was like, oh my God. Then what we did, we opted our education fee in installment phase, and decided that we'll be keeping an amount for paying our EMI every month, so that everything goes smoothly. It was actually very...
may I interrupt?
Sorry, I'm taking...
keep listening to you. Actually, we are bounded with time. Let me ask you one question.
Yeah.
Like as you said, you are the first Indian rheumatology nurse, and that was your passion. As we say, do what you love and love what you do. So that's the same principle you also do. You love your profession and your passion. So how, other than this, what unusual thing you can share with us, other than this particular, with this help of nursing, how you transform this into your another passion?
Sorry, Krish, can you say again?
Means how you have put efforts to transform this vocation, your nursing vocation, into respectable career. As you said, you are doing a rheumatology right now. Also, I have seen your brag sheet that you're working as a working in a collaborating center. So that's also something like unconventional.
Yeah.
What you say about
yeah,
this?
I'm so sorry. I actually sway away with so much emotions, and I was keep talking about that thing. But yes, definitely, I keep thinking about doing something different. Let me tell you, there is a one problem with me, that routine things can't give me kick. So I keep looking for an unconventional thing since beginning. I was always having a tag of a unconventional tag which is not available. For example, as a profession, I was the first person as a rheumatology nurse in my organization, and then I was in quality. Then again I was the first person who was working in quality, so I got a very unique tag there. So it is all about that I was very passionate about things, doing things in this way. So I always believe that nurses should not restrict themselves to the one field. Let me tell you, it is an ample of opportunity, and I've been waiting for others to make this way. But when I couldn't see anybody is making this way, then I decided, let's do it. Therefore I was telling about my struggle, because I just wanted to give a one lesson to you all, that don't stop yourself. You don't know what you are doing, your action आपके कहाँ पे जाके वो आपको help करने वाले हैं. So that's what I was doing. I was a very passionate nurse when I was on bedside. I was very passionate when I will be writing paper with my professor, and I was very passionate. Whatever I do, I try to give 100%. So that's what I keep telling everyone. Please do everything with your full passion. If you're doing everything with your passion, so ultimately you will be getting result out of that. You don't need to ask कि मुझे ये चाहिए, मुझे ये चाहिए. Let me tell you, Chris or everyone, I never asked for anything. I never negotiated when I got opportunity to work in AIMS. I never negotiated when I completed my masters from abroad. And moreover, let me tell you, my all financial crunches and crisis was abolished because I got the university scholarship, I got the organization scholarship. And can you imagine, I was the first nurse from my organization who got a scholarship for the further studies. They never did in their history. And after that, there's so many nurses started getting those scholarship if they wanted to do something unusual. So that's happened. And then coming to my current role, where I'm working as a chief coordinator or senior project manager. So I keep thinking that, as Utplakshi was also very clear about it, nurses having their inherent quality to create their impression in every field. Problem is that we couldn't break our own cocoon. So I just request everyone, please break your cocoon and you will see the beautiful rainbow on the sky, and you will feel fascinated about it. There is ample of opportunity, people respecting nurses. But first of all, we have to respect ourselves. We have to be representative in that way that people should respect us in terms of knowledge, in terms of our presentation. Yeah.
Yes. So
I'm
thank
sorry,
you
I'm
so
exceeding the
much.
time.
Yeah, thank you so much because you keep talking and we love to listen, both of you speakers, but we have our time limitation. As we might have heard, there's a quote says always like constant attention by a good nurse is just as important as a major operation by a surgeon. So we all know where we can reach. So there are certain values and beliefs which we all have been following since childhood or maybe after coming into profession, and few of which have been incorporated into our life lessons. So may I ask Utplakshi ma'am as well as Rupa, do you have any successful mantras or any philosophy which you can share with our viewers, which may inspire them, or which will be really a motivation? Any life mantras or any successful philosophy from your life? That would be my last question to you both.
Yeah. I request Utplakshi.
Ma'am, please. Yeah,
Okay.
yes, ma'am.
Yeah, sure. So I think that the mantra would be, first of all, whosoever it is, whether it be a nurse, whether it be anyone. So the first thing is that you should have that contentment in yourself, because what is important at the end of the day, whatever you are doing in your life, whatever. So whether you are a homemaker also, as Rupa said, give your 100%. And don't pretend to be someone who you actually not. So if you wanted to be, as far as nursing is concerned, if for the inspiring nurses, I just wanted to give this message ki you should be clear from your mind. Okay, we were from that era or from that time when our parent decided something for us, ki, okay, you can do that, because we were not having so much of exposure, we were not very clear. There were two stream, either science or maths, either be a doctor, engineer, or a medical personnel, or go to engineering. So okay, that time has gone, but at the end of the day, now you have ample opportunity, you have a lot of exposure. So just think upon yourself. Even if you have done BSc nursing, even if you are a bedside nurse, even if you are a academician, so even today you think that what I am doing, I am not happy at the end of the day. So I think you should pursue what you wanted to be. I know so many successful people. I know people from within. My husband work with, he's a doctor. Presently, he's working with WHO, Southeast Asian Office in Health Emergencies. So the first recruitment of him was done by a MNC, which was run by all IIMs. So his ex-boss, he started the company of Taxi for Sure, and then it was sold to Ola. So I know so many IIMs, and they were like family to me. So when I had a word with them, most of them after 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, they quit their job. 22 lakhs per annum is the salary, 25 lakhs per annum is the salary. What is not dearth? There is no dearth of money. But what is the dearth? They are not happy from within. Why they 70% of them, they have start up a company, this Practo, these all these things are by all the IIMs. So why after doing, after getting such a hefty amount of salary, after being so successful, so why have they opt out from there? Why have they why they have left that and they started a small company doing some agricultural thing? Because they are not contented from within. So you can continue anything in your life is when you are happy with that. So first of all, you should be clear in your mind that what actually you wanted in life. If you wanted to be a baker, if you wanted to be a homemaker, okay, nothing wrong in that. At the end of the day, you should have a sound sleep. So first think from within yourself, okay, what you wanted in life. You wanted to be a nurse, give your 100%, be the best nurse in the hospital. But you should not regret your decision. You should not give it a
Thank you
second thought, oh my God, पापा ने बोल दिया, या उसने बोल दिया.
Thank you
So
so
I
much,
have landed up there.
Thank you
Okay,
so much,
okay.
ma'am. It was really inspiring. And you said very aptly, you said, and we really expect, we are looking forward to hear from you again and again with more stories. And over to you, Rupa, in a line only, please. We have to have bond with time. So I hope, because in chat box, I can see one question even was there about how you collaborated with WHO. If you
Yeah.
could share in a sentence, please,
Yeah.
and give end.
Yeah. Well, let me tell you, when I was working with my previous employers and the company, that I keep associated with the public health work. And that is how I got to know my current boss, like my both professors are my previous associated. And I was doing few project voluntary for them. And ultimately, when I left my corporate world and I decided that I will be dedicating my rest of life for the public health now. So they approached me because I was looking for some unconventional, at the same time no time punch and punch out work. So they approached me and they asked me that it's been a long time. We asked you earlier also that try to work for us, and ultimately now you're free if you would like to join us. That is how I got associated with WHO Collaborating Center. Basically it is a AIMS department which is collaborated with WHO. So when a department get collaborated with WHO, then they have to work for the national as well as the Southeast Asian region. So that is how I am attached with that. I'm working as a chief coordinator as well as senior project manager, and we are looking after ministry project, Niti Aayog, as well as WHO CR project. So now it comes to the take home lesson. I'm so sorry if I disappointed anyone with my emotional story. I really wanted to come up with something, which is a philosophy of my life, as Chris just said, that, there is a key. Gratitude is the key of happiness. But if you have a judgmental thinking, you will kill your happiness. So make sure that you should have a gratitude to be happy all the time. Second is the appreciation. Appreciation is the key to success. And selfishness actually cut down you it sway away from the root of success. So I request everyone, be positive, be constructive. Smart work is always needed, but there is a no shortcut of hard work and going beyond your limit, as well as think out of the box. Only then you will be getting success. Thank you very much from my side.
That was really amazing. And we all know there are four types of zones. Like we say, a comfort zone where we feel safe and we always feel we are in control. There is a fear zone. Fear zone, always we feel we have lack of self-confidence or we always find excuse. And there is a learning zone. We extend your comfort zone, that is learning zone. We deal with challenges and problems in learning zone. And at the end, we have growth zone where we can soar into growth zone, where we can find purpose, we can live dreams, and we can set new goals and conquer our objectives. So I am here with ending of this show. Before ending, I just want to quote one more quote, which I always believe in, that work for a cause, work for a cause, not for an applause. Work for a cause, not for an applause. Live life to express, not to impress. Live life to express, not to impress. Don't strive to make your presence noticed. Don't strive to make your presence noticed. Just make your presence felt. Just make your presence felt. So here we are ending our show. We are signing off. Before that, once again, I'm so happy and thanks to all our viewers, especially Madam Utplakshi, as well as our dearest Rupa. You embraced this show today, and we know we are 2 minutes late. We are delayed, but it's fine. I think it was really inspiring, and we looking forward from many of you. And before winding off, we are stopping our live as well as recording here. We have an half an hour chit chat show where we can informally also talk. But if you find time only, otherwise those who want to leave, you may leave. We are excused for that. Once again, we are expecting you in our upcoming shows. Because of you, this show is success, and we always feel you are the backbone of our show. And once again, thanks to all. Thank you so much.